Hey, what's going on? It's your boy Dalton from the Petrol List, and welcome to the Monday video. What is it, February 5th? Yeah, so it's time to talk about some of the most important news in motorsports this year to date. And of course, I'm talking about Toyota's new MR2. We will get to a little bit more about Lewis Hamilton, but this is pretty important.
Hey, what's going on? It's the Petrol List.
Here's what it is. The new MR2 is going to be a gas-powered sports car. It's not going to be hybrid. It's not going to be battery electric. It is going to use, I think, the same 1.6 liter straight 3 turbocharged engine, gasoline engine, that they used in the GR Yaris and GR Corolla. It's going to be good for about 300 horsepower. I think there's going to be a GR-MN version that's going to be made in limited quantities that is going to be 320 horsepower. But the fact that it is going to be a gas-powered mid-engine sports car is huge. It's going to be much like the previous generations of the MR2. Now, here's where it's going to differ. The price, I believe it's going to come in around $60,000. That means that instead of being a competitor to the Miata, it's likely going to be more of a competitor to the Porsche Boxster or the Lotus Emira, which are both gas-powered mid-engine sports cars, both offered in manual transmissions. But you're going to get reliability of Toyota and maybe a little bit more parts commonality, a little bit cheaper maintenance, and that is going to be a huge reason for people to buy the MR2 over any other mid-engine sports car layout that is on offer. I think also it being a manual transmission, it's going to undercut the Chevy C8, which is more going after the likes of the Huracan and other higher output mid-engine sports cars. As much as I liked the C8, the one I would really personally consider is the MR2. As a matter of fact, I like this concept so much that I could see, by the time this thing comes out, I could see getting rid of my vintage Audi S4 and my current track-built NB Miata just to get my hands on this new MR2. Like, this is one of those times where I would actually put my money where my mouth is and pull the trigger on something like this because I think the concept is so cool. Now, another thing is Porsche has already said that the Cayman and Boxster twins, coming sometime soon, they're going to be all electric, so no more gas powered. So that takes out another arm of competition from the new MR2. Now, will Porsche kind of postpone that a little bit, given all the problems that the EV market is having right now? Maybe they do what Lotus said. Lotus said that originally they were going to get rid of the Emira and turn that into an electric, all electric sports car. But recently they've said that they're going to keep the gas-powered Lotus Emira and sell it alongside the electric Emira or whatever that is supposed to be. So that's a little bit of a step back. GM has said that they're going back to their hybrid strategy versus pure electric. Polestar has defunded or has been defunded by their parent company Volvo. Volvo has no faith in them financially. And so we're living in a little bit of a topsy-turvy world in terms of what is going to propel cars into the future. Now, I've always said I think it should be a mix. I think it should be the right technology for the right job, and that people should have a choice. Electric vehicles have their place. Not in my garage, but if the right place for them is in your garage, more power to you. I believe in choice, and I believe in people being able to buy what they want. Now, that is, to me, that's huge news. All right, let's get into the second biggest news of motorsports, and that is Lewis Hamilton going to Ferrari, of course. Now, I've developed a few more opinions on the whole fiasco, and I think that honestly, Mercedes wasn't quite treating Lewis Hamilton like the 7.5 time World Drivers' Champion that he is. Apparently, rumor has it, Lewis Hamilton asked for a 3-year contract with Mercedes, and they told him all they could do was a 1+1. So they actually put the eject button into Lewis's contract, the one that ultimately he used. So he wanted a long-term contract. He wanted some kind of guaranteed ambassador position with Mercedes once his career was done. They also said no to that. And here comes Ferrari saying, yeah, we'll do it. We'll give you a multi-year contract. We'll give you an ambassadorship. And also, if you followed Mercedes posts or whatever, they were highlighting George Russell over their own 7.5 time world champion. Now, I know it's just social media, but I mean, when you've put in that much work with a team, you would expect, maybe a little bit more respect than that. And let's not forget the elephant in the room. The biggest mistake that Mercedes did is they signed George Russell too early. I think both Valtteri Bottas and Lewis Hamilton had a lot of time left in their duo, as super functional teammates. I think that they could have gone all the way through until 2026 before they changed things up. It's not like Bottas was trying to retire. And so if they would have signed George Russell in, say 2025, and then had that, that build up, I think the timing would have been better. It would have showed Hamilton that they were behind him for, trying to get to that, I guess you could say, recorded 8th championship, but they didn't do that. They went with Russell too early. And for me, like I always say, Russell he's a good driver. He's a great driver. But I don't see him as better than Alonso. I don't see him as better than Norris. I don't see him as better than Piastri. And for the life of me, I can't figure out why Mercedes made such a profound and impactful decision so early, and also decided to treat their incumbent champion the way they're doing, and leave him open to be poached. I don't imagine this had a whole lot to do with Toto Wolff. I imagine that it had to do with Mercedes upper management. And one thing that I must say about the Mercedes-Hamilton partnership is I now know that Petronas exists. Without Lewis Hamilton, I would not even know what a Petronas is. Could be because I'm American, but I wouldn't know. And so he's done a lot as an ambassador whilst being a champion driver. And I don't think that Mercedes really put enough respect there. And it left him open to be poached. I think that, these days people are staying healthier longer. They know how to take care of themselves. Alonso, he's got more years left in him as a driver. Hamilton, he's got more years left in him as a driver. And so we're not back in the day where people just retire from all sports at, the age of 32. They're going a lot longer these days. And I think Mercedes was possibly a little bit late to getting that memo. And now they're kind of paying the price. Now, Russell could come out and be an amazing driver next year and just be like, whoa, exceeding all expectations. I'm just not sure that's going to be the case. And will it be enough to woo some of the Mercedes fans back? I'm not sure. I was just on Mercedes page today. Apparently today it's George Russell's birthday. And the comments section, they didn't care. It was all about Mercedes treating Lewis Hamilton poorly and a lot of people saying that they were not going to be a Mercedes fan during the 2026 season, and that they were following Hamilton over to Ferrari. I know there's a lot of people out there like, oh, Lewis Hamilton fans are, toxic, and, it's a cult and all that kind of stuff. I think that there can be, negative fans in every genre. There are negative, Ford fans, negative Tesla fans, negative Verstappen fans. Yeah, sure, negative Lewis fans. But I think we do have to kind of collectively admit, like, what the heck was Mercedes thinking over the last couple of years? Okay, let's switch gears one more time. And I want to talk a little bit about the most underrepresented group in Formula One. It's the right thing to do. And I'm talking, of course, about Americans. Yeah. So the last Formula One, the last American Formula One driver to win a race, I believe, was Mario Andretti, and that was back in 1978 when he was actually the world champion. And then the last driver to win points in Formula One was in 1993 in the Italian GP, and those points were won by Mario's son, Michael Andretti. If you didn't know, Michael Andretti was a Formula One driver for a little less than one season. He completed 13 races in 1993 out of 16. And then he left Mika... Oh my gosh, how did I forget? Mika Häkkinen, the test driver, McLaren's test driver, to finish up that season. And he was Ayrton Senna's teammate in 1993. Who all knew that? So, do a little research. It's amazing what you find out. So he left, and apparently back in the day, he didn't seem to take Formula One as seriously as he should have. And instead of, staying on with the team, he would, fly over to McLaren headquarters, do what he needed to do, and then essentially commute back to the States to take care of whatever business it was there. And I think Formula One, those folks have long memory. Long memory. I mean, the main guy over at Ferrari, I'm trying to remember his name. I can't remember right now. But he's been talking to Hamilton for a long time. He's been waiting. And finally, Mercedes kind of messed up. And they were like, Lewis, do you want to go over to Ferrari? I mean, these are long-term relationships, long-term memories. And so if Michael Andretti was seen as not serious in 1993, who knew it? But 30 years later, they're still giving him the same rhetoric. He's not serious. Well, people change. It's 30 years later. He's had a successful racing company career. And I'm just speculating at this time. Did his prior Formula One, failed career have anything to do with the way Formula One is treating him now in terms of saying he's not ready? I don't know if it's founded. But one of the things they said is that, we're only looking for new entries that are going to be competitive right off the bat. What about Haas? What about Williams? What about Alpine? What about the teams that have been there for years? And we already know, beyond the shadow of a doubt, that they are not competitive and that they're not going to be competitive anytime soon. So if Cadillac came in and wasn't competitive, what's the difference? Now, I think that Cadillac would actually be competitive, and maybe that is a little bit of the problem. So here's the math. The math is weird. So there are 10 teams, 10 pieces of the pie. Now, instead of having Cadillac come in and take part of that 10 pieces, basically same dollar amount, and then spreading that into 11 pieces. They want to make sure that that Andretti can carry his own weight financially. I think he doesn't just need to come up with a full 11th share. I think he's got to prove that he can sweeten the deal a lot, because if he comes in and only provides an 11th share, and say that, Cadillac / Andretti are competitive and he knocks everybody else down, well, the entire pie is gonna have to be bigger. So instead of bringing an 11th share, I think he's gonna have to bring like an 11th, 12th, and a 14th share, essentially to make other teams comfortable with losing to an Andretti team, if that were to happen. I'm not saying that would happen. Matter of fact, I doubt that would happen, but I do think that there's a little bit of fear going into the decision about keeping Andretti out, because Andretti and Cadillac, I think, could be a potential powerhouse in Formula One. And I don't think that people are ready for that much of a change. It's an interesting quarter for Formula One. Christian Horner is being freshly investigated for misconduct. There was the Toto and Susie Wolf thing. There's the Lewis Hamilton transfer. There's, like I said, Andretti. There's a whole bunch of different things going on. And I guess, it's part of the show. Per always, Formula One is going to need to continue to try and get their act together so that people can be happy watching the races. I'm going to watch next season. But it is a little bit of a clown show out there. And personally, I can't wait for the season to start so that we can discover races and, kind of get past some of the other stuff that's going on. But that's how it is. Formula One silly season. That's how it is every off season. Some off seasons are a little more interesting than others. There's a lot on the line this year, and I think it's reflected. So yeah, MR2, biggest news. I can see myself getting rid of other vehicles and just grabbing an MR2. Toyota reliability, mid-engine, call it a day. Toyota, if you're listening, bring that MR2 to the States, because I can almost guarantee that you'll have a customer. Okay, that was it. I think that went well. I'll see you next week. I'm out.